Is the screen visible? Characteristics of television.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So today what we are going to present is the characteristics of television, and under the topic characteristics of television, we'll be going to see the completion of this session. You'll be able to understand a brief history of radio, film, and television. So, without reading radio and film, it is of no use to what you say understand the television medium. So, it came in the parallel era. So, the radio medium and film and the television medium. If you want to say the radio and film came very much before television. Okay, that was the history. The radio and film came much before television, but if you see, the television is the heart of any technology, heart of all medium when compared to this radio and film. So we will see what are the reasons and what are the characteristics behind this, making television as a prominent and predominant medium than radio and film. So after this session, you'll be able to understand the brief history of radio, film, and television, and the characteristics about television. Okay, if you trace back the history, this is a brief history. If you trace back the history till the close of the 19th century, the stage provided for the forum. The stage, you mean that theater arts, and the stage provided the forum for mass contact. The stage was and is a live medium with live performers, with speakers and actors confronting live audiences. So, okay, till the close of 19th century, that is the only medium available to contact, to have a mass contact with the audiences is the stage. So it has to be very clear. The stage provided the forum for mass contact. So it is a live medium with live performers, with the speakers and actors who confront the live audiences. In that time, in that medium, the stage, there was instant feedback. In case of stage communication, there was instant feedback because of the continuous interaction between the performers and their audiences. So that is one of the beauty of unique beauty speciality of stage communication or stage performing arts. There we can have an instant feedback of because of continuous interaction between the performers and their audiences. And one of the demerit is the size of audience was small, at best a few thousand people. For theaters and all, you can see not only in our country, in Western country, where theaters can accommodate at the maximum of a few thousand people. So that is one of the major demerit of what you say, the stage medium. Still, we can say it's a mass contact. That time, it means a few thousand people. So the size of audience was small. At best, a few thousand people can be contacted. In 1896 came the film in the 19th century, and the film came in which the same performance, what they did in the stage, the same performance was caught by the camera, preserved on the celluloid, and it could be the major merit is it could be shown again and again without any variation. So which is not possible in the stage medium to different audiences and also to the mass audiences. So in 1896 came the film. The performance was caught as how it happened. What the performance happened in the stage, which is has been caught and preserved on the celluloid. It could be showed again and again without any variation. So which is not possible in the stage medium. We can't perform the same drama or the same act again and again with the same intention or same emotion. If the audience are the same or if the performers are the same, that is not possible in the stage medium to different audiences. So it could reach the vast masses. So a one-time production, one-time recording, one-time, what do you say, capturing the performances. So the film could reach vast masses. So if you want again and again when at the beginning we said the radio, film, and television is considered as the mass communication. So when it was introduced, they tried it to make it as a mass communication. So by this means, preserving it and putting it on the celluloid, we can reach vast masses. So till 1927, it was the era of the silent film for various reasons. Because of technical reasons. One of the major reason is the technicality. It was era of the silent film. In 1927, sound was added to the film, and we got talking form of films. Talking films, what they call it as. You heard about the term talkies. So the talkies means talking films where the sound was added to the films. I think you remember some of the what you say the uh, Charlie Chaplin episodes or Charlie Chaplin films where you can see only the film is captured. Finally, the audio, the music will be added to the film because that time the technicality is not possible to record the what you say the live sound in the film, and also dubbing is also not possible to add further it later. So it's a silent film till 1927, and the sound added to the film made it as a talkie talking films, that is talkies. So this was the one of the important what you say the year to be noted, 1920s. The period to be noted is the 1920s, where silent film era moving to the talkies era. So at the same time, the 1920s witnessed the coming of radio broadcasting in many countries, so including India, the radio broadcasting came. The silent film had no ears, so only visuals, only for eyes. Then the new medium, that time, you see, that time the new medium was radio. So then the new medium radio had no eyes. So that is the beauty during that time, radio and film. Okay, as I said earlier, without knowing the history of radio and film, it is meaningless to study the television. So, the parallelly radio broadcasting and capturing of film during the 1920s, the silent film had no ears. The new medium, that time radio, had no eyes. And yet, both media excited the people. Think of the days in the 1920s, exactly some 100 years before, a century before, both media excited the people. A silent film without only visuals, conveying or expressing the emotions, and radio is only voice. The voice emotion is meant by the modulation of voices. So no eyes. So both media excited the people those days. Lack of ears was a limitation and a challenge for the silent film, and lack of eyes was a limitation and challenge for the radio. But both film and radio converted the challenge into an opportunity. That is an interesting thing. So the film, the challenge is no ears, and the limitation for radio is no eyes. So both took it as a challenge, and they converted it as a challenge, and they went on exploring it, and they made it successful, and also they made it possible to a success medium, radio and film, those days. So that was accomplished through the so how this can be accomplished? If that is a challenge for radio, visual is a challenge. You can't see, no eyes. For a film, no ears. So how this can be possible is accomplishing through what you say the creative imagination of the talented. So here comes the role of creativity. How creative you are going to use the film medium, which doesn't have ears, but you have to convey, you have to have a mass contact. So the same way, how creative you are going to use the radio medium, it has its own characters. That is, it's a, some used to say it as a blind medium, that is without no eyes. So the creativity plays a major role in this radio and film medium. It was introduced. So with this continuation, 1930s, the television made its bow in the west. It's okay. 1930s, the television came into the picture. Its true development took place after the Second World War. So many developments, if you trace back the history, especially the history of technology and technological inventions. You can easily, what you say, record it. Many things happened after the Second World War. It's true, the development took place after the Second World War, what they call it as the industrial revolution, majorly after, mainly happened after the Second World War. In India, the new glamour medium came in 1959. So we have to accept it's a 1959. Television was one of the pervasive mediums in most
யாரும்
countries.
வராங்களா? கார்ல இடம் பத்தாததான் என்ன பண்றதுன்னு யோசிச்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். 2 காரா பிரிப்போமா அது இதுன்ட்டு.
Television was one of the most pervasive mediums in most countries when it was introduced, and also today. Nobody can deny this. It's a pervasive medium than radio and film when it was when it was introduced, and also today. But radio and film were born much before TV came on the scene. That we have to accept. So okay, we'll see. So what made the television become a heart of all the mediums, became a predominant medium and a pervasive medium than the radio and film, which were born much before the television. We'll see. Television as a mass media. So it's a powerful, today TV pervades the life of people in most countries. It has become a very powerful medium of information, education, and entertainment. So when you say it's a mass communication, and the functions of any mass medium is it has to provide information, it has to educate, and it has to entertain the audience. So the it has become a very powerful medium of information, education, and entertainment. Like the film and the radio, television has its unique process of communication. As I said, every medium has its unique form, unique process of communication. As I said, no, the creativity plays a major role in film, which doesn't have ears, and radio, which doesn't have eyes. So television has its own unique process of communication and psychology of reception. So all the three media, like the stage medium, have their relevance and utility that nobody can deny. Radio and TV are called the electronic media because they are electronically operated. So why it has been called as electronic media? Because they are electronically operated. Today there are the supreme media of mass communication, leaving the other media far behind. Leave it. We are discussing here only about the television as a mass medium, not entering into the scope of new media, that is on internet. So we'll be discussing only the television. So no other medium can reach hundreds of thousands of people with such speed as the broadcast media of radio and TV can. That is the initial stage of how television can be seen as mass medium, how it can be used as mass medium. Here, very important thing to note to understand the characteristics of any medium. What is the uniqueness? So uniqueness plays a major role in defining the characteristics of any medium. For example, if you take radio, the uniqueness is it's for ears. When you take film, its uniqueness is still even talkies, and still nowadays the uniqueness of a film is it's a visual medium. So that uniqueness plays a major role in defining its characteristics. When coming to television, the characteristics of television as a mass medium, if you want to further explore, television is an audio visual medium. So television has both audio and visual. We have seen that radio is a medium of sound only. TV has both sound and sight. But TV should not be taken as a radio with sight. Okay, you should not confuse, like think of the days when television was introduced, because even before people were used to listen to the radio, when suddenly television came, no, they're listening to the how they listen the voices on the radio, the same way they're listening to the television, only with the additional of what you say, the added sight. So you should not take like what you say, should not be taken as radio with sight. Okay, Radio and TV are different media with different grammar. As I said, no, different uniqueness and different process of communication with the different grammar, different vocabulary, different mechanics and dynamics. That is going to be the scope. If you can ask what is the different grammar, vocabulary, and mechanics and dynamics. That is the technicalities. Radio has a different technique, a different language. Radio has a different language, and television has a different language, different vocabulary. How so? Don't confuse. Television is a radio with visual, so it's not like that. So it has a different thing. So TV and radio are uniquely different from each other all along the line. Their broadcast, right from conception to reception, are different. So, radio production, radio language, radio broadcasting, radio content, radio concept is totally different from conceiving your idea to receive to the to the receivers at the other end is totally different from television. How you have to conceive the idea, how you have to develop the idea into a script, and how you have to produce, how you have to broadcast, and how people are going to receive. So that is where the previously mentioned as the psychology of different medium has its own uniqueness. So TV and radio are uniquely different from each other all along the line. Their broadcast right from conception to reception, totally different. A radio broadcast is uniquely radiophonic or radiogenic, and a TV broadcast is uniquely a telegenic. So TV is audio visual, but predominantly visual, proportionately much more visual than audio. So here the scope is we have a visual predominantly, as we can say in the film. No, television have a predominant take over the visuals than audio. A TV broadcast is conceived and produced and received in audio visual terms. A radio broadcast is conceived, produced, and received entirely in terms of sound for the ear only. That is the reason some used to say radio as a blind medium. It's a quick tip where if you want to write a script or write a story or write a play for a radio program, just close your eyes and write it. After writing this, sorry, it's not like close your eyes and write. After writing the script, if you want to really feel how the audience, listeners, radio listeners receive the story, no, just ask them to ask someone to read out your script, and you just close your eyes and listen to the script. Okay, that is why it is called as the blind medium. So a radio broadcast is conceived, produced, and received entirely in terms of only sound for the ear only. TV entirely audiovisual terms. A television broadcast directly affects two senses simultaneously, those of hearing and seeing. As I said, predominantly seeing. Radio is a unisense medium affecting only one sense. There is a hearing again and again. It is telling the same concept. Television broadcast can have greater effect or influence on the receiver of the broadcast, what we called as the viewer. The potential of television have a greater effect or impact because, according to psychologists, the eye absorbs much more than the ear at the same time. That is a notion in the psychologist, what you say, according to them. The eye absorbs much more than the ear at the same time. So that is the potential of a television. As we said earlier, it is having the terms of audio-visual terms. The eye absorbs much more than the ear at the same time. That is one of the main potentiality of television, which have a greater effect or impact. The eyes also retain the seen image much longer than the ears can. So that is because of that medium. So we can proudly say, because of that medium, we can claim it as a pervasive medium, most pervasive medium than other two mediums, because the eye absorbs much more than the ear. At the same time, the eye also retain the seen image much longer than the ears can. So this is the characteristics, one of the characteristics of television as an audio visual medium. So these things, this slide will tell you about how television can be characterized in terms of audio-visual medium comparing with the radio medium. So one of the other characteristics with the features of other media, television has borrowed certain features from earlier media of communication, like the stage, the film, and the radio. As you say, now what it has borrowed, we'll see. But it has so mixed up these borrowed features as to make something uniquely different. You see, from the stage, it has borrowed the what you say, the movement of subjects, or if you want to say the movement of artists or movement of the actors. From the film, it has borrowed the capturing, that means the camera, and from the radio, it has borrowed the microphone. So television has borrowed certain features from the earlier media of communication, like the stage, the film, and the radio. But it has so mixed up these borrowed features to make something uniquely different, uniquely as its own, very own. So it has borrowed the features, but it has to make it as own. For example, from the stage, it has borrowed movement, from the film, the camera, from the radio, the microphone. So movement, camera, and microphone are the features that has been borrowed from other medium to other media to television. But the television has integrated all these features into a whole that makes television a uniquely new medium, different from all other media. Thoroughly, we call it as telegenic. It is not simply like what a film camera does and how the stage performers does and how the sound captures in the microphone. Just copying, mixing all the features as like how it is in that medium. No, television has borrowed these features and mixed up these features to make this medium a different and unique medium of its very own. So that is what the thoroughly telegenic made this thing. And the one of other characteristic of television is wide reach and high credibility. So we'll see wide reach and high credibility. So far we have seen two characteristics. One is television as a, what you say, the audiovisual medium, and television which borrowed features of other, which contains the features of other media. Third characteristic of television is wide reach and high credibility. Television is a supreme medium of mass communication. With the support of satellite technology today, it can reach all corners of the globe. As you see, it can reach all corners of the globe. As McLuhan, the prophet of media communications, said, television has turned the world into a global village in respect of communication of information and ideas and thought exchange. He has said in the concept respect of communication of information and ideas and thoughts and exchange, he has said television has turned the world into a global village, as by the McLuhan, who is termed to be the prophet of media communication. The television camera, so the reach and credibility, we are talking about the reach and credibility. The television camera today goes to the planets, it goes under the earth, into the sea, and throws light on the dark areas of knowledge about our world, the universe, and the total environment. Okay, so the television camera, so which help you to provide the credible visuals, which help you to give the credibility to the viewers. It has brought about an information revolution and has turned our society into an information society. Television has brought information revolution and turned our society into an information society. Because of its reach, television has widened the mental horizons of man. It has become the supreme educator of man that you have to accept. It has the potential of humanizing knowledge. The man can be educated to feel as a citizen of the world. he can be educated by television to look at the entire environment sympathetically and do think of himself as a part of it. So this camera, which goes to the planets under the earth into the sea, with the dark areas, which is throw lights at the dark areas to provide knowledge about our world and the universe and the total environment, which can tell the potential of humanizing knowledge. So the man can be educated to feel as a citizen of the world, with where the television helps. Television has a great potential for imparting fruitful lessons, one world education to mankind. Television is a credible, believable medium because of the camera. As I said, no, the camera which goes and so used to say in psychology or in general used to say seeing is believing, because of so television has a great potential for imparting the fruitful lessons, and television is a credible, a believable medium because seeing is believing. Things that few people might believe otherwise become believable when shown on the television screen. Whatever you say, whatever the story you say, whatever the thing that you narrate, they just listen to you based on only the individual's credibility, until some people believe only if you show it. So that is the seeing is believing, where this television helps to make that thing possible. When shown on the television screen, people believe it, so it becomes a believable medium, so it becomes a credible medium. Stories of what do you say, the man's poverty and richness can be shown on the television, where you can people can read it. Beautiful and ugly can be shown, noble and meanness, despair. So when we seen this with the naked open eye, it becomes absolutely true. So the seeing is believing makes an important tenet of a television characteristics, that becomes it's a credible medium. Because of the satellite technology and this visual seeing is believing, it becomes a wide reach and credible medium. So the next characteristics of we'll move on to the next characteristics of television. It's a glamour medium. So television is a glamour medium. So you watch on TV glittering personalities and events, international conference, sports meets, international festivals, fashion shows and banquets, travel shows, interviews with world leaders, bold and beautiful personalities, rich people, famous people, celebrities across the world. So because of these glittering personalities, television can be termed as a glamour medium. The great convenience of watching all this is sitting back at home adds to its glamour. So the great convenience. So it's a convenience medium. The convenience of all this is we can sit back at home and we can watch all the things that we mentioned in the first point in the slide. It adds to its glamour. The facility of watching almost round the clock enhances the glamour appeal still more. Anytime we can watch. So round the clock of watching almost all the things mentioned here enhances the glamour appeal still more to this television media. Because of its glamour, television has also been called as the magic box. So there are many terms that came to define television. I'll tell you one by one a few things later classes. So it's a magic box because of this possible thing. So all sort of people at all sorts of time almost magically seem to be appearing on the screen from within the box. So think of those days. I'm telling about 1960s and 1970s and 80s. All your celebrities, all your famous people, all the famous leaders, world leaders, they appear in the box where leisurely you can sit at the home and you can watch relaxedly. So that is the reason it is termed as a magic box. So and it has also been called a toy, where which adults get fascinated like the child's toy, which fascinates the child. So those days, this is like an adult toy when television was introduced. They get fascinated. Adults get fascinated with this toy. Some term to be the television as a toy for adults. So adult toys because of its glamour medium. So incidentally, some critics have also called it as an idiot box. Perhaps TV idiotically churns out all sorts of times, all sorts of programs, good, bad, and indifferent, watchable and unwatchable, perhaps because it shows only those things which the programmers and men behind the camera and the wisdom things should be shown. You see, as we mentioned, the justification for why the television has been called as the magic box, because with the glamour magic, it can be seen to all, and why some critics also say this television as an idiot box, because all the times and all sorts of programs, whichever good, bad, different programs, indifferent, it's a monotonous, watchable programs, unwatchable, and the reason is the programs that are shown on the television are decided by the men behind the camera. In their wisdom, things should be shown. As you see, every television channel or a television programs, no, the people who produce that programs, they have their own agenda. So if you see, if you want to take the contemporary present day example, some channels, some television channels, they have their own content of what you say, kindling the emotions of people. So they have their core concept of whichever program they do, irrespective of the program, irrespective of the genre, they kindle the people's emotion. Okay, so because the programs are decided by the men behind the camera, behind the production, behind the screen, in their wisdom, things should be shown where it is likable or it is watchable or unwatchable, whether people like it or not, they don't know. They want to show what they think. For that reason, many critics have also called this television as an idiot box. Very few can resist the glamour and the magic of television. It has a habit of attracting people to the point of addiction. The television has a habit of attracting people to the point of addiction because the audiovisual characteristics and credibility characteristics and the glamour medium with the programs, it can easily attract people to the point of addiction. What we call it as tele addiction, in fact, has become the greatest addiction of our times. Of most people, including the children, the young, the adults, and the old, sitting the TV set has become a second nature with them. Okay, today the environment is totally different. We are addicted to the what is the touch screen or the with the palm, the screen on our palm. Think of the inventions, these in before these inventions, television is a major medium for attracting and point of addiction. So they made it by sitting in front of the television and made many people addicted to it. So this is because of this reason, it's a glamour medium. Now we will move to the next characteristics or the interesting characteristics is a medium of the close. So what is the unique speciality of this characteristics when compared with other medium? Parallelly, during that time, television is the medium of the close-up. Its stage is its screen, which is small. Because of the small screen, it's not an ideal medium for spectacles or huge pageants, and ideal for close-up of human faces or long shots of scenery. So you can see because of small screen. Think of the days when television was introduced. It is not like now how we are watching television to the big wall, like 32 inches, 50 inches, 60 inches, even more than 90 inches of television screens are available. Think of those days when it was invented and came to the market. The screen was small, and it is not an ideal what you say the ideal medium for spectators, like spectacles of huge, showing huge sceneries and huge performance as like how they do it in stage performances. So it is ideal for only close up of human faces, for long shots of scenery. So it is an ideal medium for expressing reaction and interaction between people in a teledrama, for presenting an interview and a discussion. You see, because of this reason, this becomes the nature and this becomes the uniqueness to the stereotypical television because of the size. When it was introduced, it uses close-up shots for human faces and long shots for only the sceneries, landscapes and scenery. So then it becomes the ideal medium. Obviously, what can be shown in a human face if you show it close up in a close-up shot? We can show only the reaction and only the interaction between people. Nothing else can be shot in the close-up shot. So this ideal medium for expressing reaction and interaction between people in a teledrama and for presenting interview and discussion. So this becomes the show, what you say, the all of the day for television medium. So that is why you find the camera catching the reaction or expressions of the man who is talking at a particular moment. If something has happened or somebody had said something, the camera would show the reaction of several people one by one in close-up. I think you have seen this in television serials. Okay, the reaction or interaction they used to show individual close-up shots of the people who are in that particular scene or particular, what do you say, the particular space. So that's why the camera will catch the reaction of all the people, the expression of the man who is talking at a particular moment. Say if something has happened, the camera would, for several people, one by one, it will be showing one by one in close-up. According to artistic necessity, the camera would take full close-up or of the close-up. There are different types of close-up, full, quarter close-up, or the character of a man. So that is the medium of close-up. One of the important characteristics of television, which is all the way still followed by the industry. And the next interesting characteristic is a living room medium. Television is a medium of and for the family. It is a medium for entertainment and information at home. The whole family or some members sit by the screen to watch television shows. Television watching brings together the family increasingly. The interaction between the family, interaction between the members of the family. You heard about this and you have seen some interesting events also. The family members, they start interacting the content that has been shown on the television, especially in developing countries like ours, where people cannot afford a television set in every room. We can't afford a television set in every room, a country. So it becomes a living room medium. Since it is an intimate medium for the family and at the home, some of the ideal subjects are those that handle intimate human relationships. Relationship between the members of the family, between neighbors, friends, and the overall patterns of relationship in the society. I think you had seen there are some comedies also in the recent films where the neighbors used to interact about the content or about the program that has broadcasted on the television. So it has become a family. If you want to say it, it is a, what you say, it's a member of a family. It's one of the unit member of a family. The television reaches to that stage. So that is the one of the interesting characteristics as a living room medium. To see the next characteristics of television, it's a democratizing medium. It is a democratizing medium because it is available to all people. Since it's a medium of mass communication, it has to deal with the problems of all the sections of society. It democratizes information and informal education, reaching out to one and all. It also tends to democratize discussing in the broadcasting, telecasting in a dramatic version. Even those who have not read literature or are illiterate or semi-literate come to know of it. Since television is a medium that has to cater to all sections of the society, it is not generally and uniformly very artistic. Highly artistic things might go over the heads of the common viewer, but it has to cater all sections of the society. As against television, the stage can afford to be highly artistic because its audience is selective. For a stage medium, the audience is selective can afford to be highly artistic. But when coming to television, it's a mass medium to cater all sections of the society. Only those people go to the theater who are ready to pay for the show, or the select audience who are ready to pay for that artistic productions. Television cannot choose its viewers, and television does not charge ticket money for entry into its show. So most television programs are for the common people. Exceptions are there, as they have to be. It's most of the television programs are for the common people. Television productions, I'm not discussing anything about the OTT or new media platform. This is purely of about the television. When it was introduced, the characteristics where now it is also applicable now also. So in mass production, the quality cannot be uniformly high. In mass production, the quality cannot be uniformly high. On the other hand, the above situation gives the producer scope for experimentation and to touch excellence in some productions, because it is for a mass production where the producers can do some experiments, scope for experimentation, to find out to excel in some production. Since he makes so many programs, he can't afford experiments, even failures. As against this, stage theater producer just cannot afford the failures. Here we are comparing with the stage production. In television, scope for experimentation is there. When it's a stage production, the stage theater producer cannot afford the failures. He produces one, two, or three shows in a year for the professional stage. The situation has another implication for the television producer. He has to produce programs every day. The television producer has to produce programs every day. So he has continuous scope for creativity than the stage production. It's a professional stage production. They can do only two, three, maximum of three shows in a year to stage their performance. So how he exploits this scope would differ from producer to producer, exploiting not this medium, and also the same way how the television producers exploit the viewers. The stage producer producing two, three shows here does not have the advantages for continuous creativity. When compared to television, it has a more have a scope for more creativity, where they are doing continuously the programs one after other. And the next characteristics of television is it's a medium of immediacy. Medium of immediacy. Television is a medium of immediacy. It captures the events even as they are happening. Much before the newspaper comes out with information on events in the next morning, television captures the events even as they are happening. Yesterday's news is no news on TV. It will make TV look outdated. TV is a supreme reporter. In audiovisual terms, it reports the events here and now. That is the interesting thing. It is not like a reporting what happened yesterday. It is a reporter, supreme reporter. In audiovisual terms, it reports here and now. Television operates in a fixed time unit. Every program slot has a time chunk. The time unit must be time units. The time unit must be respected, otherwise all time schedules for all programs would be disturbed. So it's a fixed time units. The television operates in a fixed time unit. Because of this time units for slots, the performers and the writers of the scripts have to be disciplined. So also the producer. So it is a disciplined production of the television programs in a fixed time slot and fixed broadcasting time. As you say, see, the soap operas, because it deals with the audience to fix it in the mind about the time management. It comes at every weekdays or weekends or these days. So it becomes a, what you say, makes the writer's performance have to be disciplined. For example, a teleplay is usually scheduled for 29 minutes or 59 minutes. So the time here is a disciplined way of production. The performance and producer must say they have to do it in the allotted time. So you think of the serial producers. And the last characteristics of a television is advertisers influence. TV is the great salesman of those times and also even now. Nobody can deny this. TV is the great salesman of those times and also even now. The businessman sells his products and services through television. This medium is much more effective for him to reach out to a vast number of potential and actual customers than the other medium those days, like newspapers and hoardings. Now, don't want to compare this advertisers influence with the new medium. It's totally different. They're just telling about the characteristics of television's point of view for a advertisers influence. So this is the last characteristics. Television advertisements or programs sponsored by businessmen can reach tens of millions of people. And why still the television is an advertiser's influence than the new medium, where we can say, because of one of the important characteristics, as you mentioned in the previous slide, that it has a high credibility than the new medium. As this new medium or new media, social media, doesn't have that much credibility. That's my point of view. Okay, so it advertises influence. No newspaper can even ever dream of reaching out to such large number of television advertisements by the businessman can reach tens of millions of people. Okay, so let me sum up the characteristics of television. Television is an audiovisual medium, more visual than audio. It is a glamour medium, the knack of getting the viewers addicted to it. It is a medium of immediacy. It reports events as they are happening, like here and now in audiovisual terms. It is a medium of the close-ups. It broadcast must be in accordance with the home and family norms. So now I am quickly recapping, reading out the characteristics of television, what we have seen so far. It is an audio visual medium for many reasons. Features of other media, borrowed the features from other medium and how it has mixed up and become integrated into a unique medium for its own, very own characteristics. Features of other media, wide reach and high credibility because of the satellite technology and the concept of seeing is believing, which has been taken by television to make it as a characterized wide reach and high credibility. And it's a glamour medium because of the attractiveness. It can easily attract the people for many reasons, like magic box, at adult toy, and an idiot box. And it's a medium of the close-ups for technical reasons. And it's a living room medium. It's a democratizing medium. It's a medium of immediacy, and it's a medium for advertisers' influence. So these are all the brief introduction about the characteristics of a television medium. That's it for today. If you have any questions, you can ask. Are you people there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.